Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is SwitchBoyM if you're new, and today we have to talk about the massive red jacket wearing elephant in the room when it comes to Resident Evil Requiem. Where is Claire Redfield exactly?
Where are they?
Killing is making a choice.
Where are they?
Choose between.
If you've been diving into the lore of the new game, you already know her absence is quite deafening to say the least. But before we break out the pitchforks and declare the franchise is dead, as some YouTubers might, a recent article from the Game Rant has shed some serious light on what Capcom might be planning for the character in the future behind the scenes. All sources will be linked in the description below. According to Game Rant, an established Resident Evil leaker has stated that Capcom hasn't brought back Claire Redfield due to the games the developer is reportedly still working on.
What?
However, those who missed her presence in Resident Evil Requiem could have some good news on the horizon, as the same leaker states that Claire Redfield will be a major focus in the near future.
Let's f***ing do this!
There are plenty of Resident Evil characters who have vanished over the years, especially those who have only appeared in one game. To name a few, Billy Gwen, I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, Helena Harper, and Moira Burton have all appeared as co-stars in a single Resident Evil game and haven't been seen since. While some players are still clamoring to see them again, even major established characters like Claire Redfield and Jill Valentine have been missing from the main entries for quite some time. When one of gaming's major leaks was found to be true and Leon was revealed to have a major role in Resident Evil Requiem, many felt it was only right for Claire to also appear, given her connections to the city and the outbreak. Even Sherry, who was a child in Resident Evil 2, plays a role in Leon's return to Raccoon City. However, Claire did not appear in the game, and in Resident Evil leaker community, Dusk Golem believes it's because Capcom does not want to overdo certain things when looking at the games that it will be releasing in the franchise's near future. Dusk Golem believes that Capcom takes the games that are in the pipeline into consideration when choosing which character to focus on in Resident Evil. According to Dusk Golem, Capcom will be releasing a remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica in 2027, which will star Claire, followed by a remake of Resident Evil 0 in 2028. If Claire had been a major focus in Resident Evil Requiem, she would have had two major appearances back to back in the series. As part of their evidence, Dusk Golem also pointed to the enemies present in Resident Evil Requiem, noting that hunters don't make an appearance, allegedly because they will be featured in Code Veronica as well as Resident Evil 0 the following year. Although the alleged reasoning on Capcom's part makes some sense, Claire fans have reasons to be frustrated. Chronologically, the most recent game in the series that Claire appeared in was Resident Evil Revelations 2, which released over a decade ago in 2015, approximately 10 years ago, 11 if we're counting 2026. While she's appeared in spin-off movies and the Resident Evil 2 remake, it's been a long time since Claire has had a focus in a brand new release in the main franchise. Meanwhile, her brother Chris Redfield has been a major playable, or at least appeared in numerous major Resident Evil games, being a major playable character over the last couple of decades. This includes Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and Resident Evil Village.
Oh!
While the lack of Claire Redfield in Resident Evil Requiem has probably disappointed many series veterans, if the players hold out a little longer, they will likely end up getting a great Claire centric experience in the near future. Speaking on the Code Veronica remake, Dusk Golem states that we're about to get many people's favorite interpretation of Claire ever, and that Capcom has doubled down on it being Claire's game.
Let's fucking do this!
Capcom has certainly been aware of fan demand for the remake of Code Veronica, especially since it had skipped when the series went from a remake of Resident Evil 3 to one of Resident Evil 4. The Capcom series has been on a winning streak with its games since the soft reboot of Resident Evil 7 back in 2017, and if it maintains its recent level of quality, a remake of Code Veronica is likely to continue that legacy. For now, however, players will just have to be patient.
But I want it now!
Okay, what are my honest thoughts? While the logistics make sense from a development standpoint, it's still a tough pill to swallow. Sidelining a legacy character for over a decade just to quote unquote save her for the remake feels like a narrative misstep, especially when characters like Chris and Leon are consistently in the spotlight. Which brings me to my personal sort of theories on how Capcom is going to course correct this. I don't think we are done with Requiem yet in terms of the timeline, but I do think there is something that can be done with Claire in the future. So, my first theory is we are absolutely gonna get a Claire focused DLC. I mean, we have to. There has to be an explanation of all the things we see related to Claire. Capcom knows the community is frustrated, and I predict we'll see a story expansion that explicitly fills the gaps. It could show what Claire was doing right before the events of Requiem, her parallel journey during the outbreak while Leon and Cherry were doing their thing, or what she's dealing with in the immediate aftermath of the game, specifically the true ending, the good ending of Resident Evil Requiem. They need to bridge that narrative gap and explain why Sherry did not reach out to her during the events of the game. And that leads me to theory number 2, the big one. Once the Code Veronica remake drops in 2027 and reestablishes Claire as a top tier protagonist for modern audiences, the board will be completely set. I believe this is all leading to Resident Evil 10, not as a solo outing, but a massive ensemble finale where Claire plus Jill plus Chris plus Leon finally comes together in a mainline game, teaming with each other for the first time in a game, in spin off material or not. And that would be really, really epic and a massive fan service to the franchise and a great way to sort of end the Umbrella saga that was sort of ended in Resident Evil Requiem but will be fully finished in Resident Evil 10.
I'll drink to that.
Now, if you've been on Reddit, you will see some posts saying that people are terrified of Capcom maybe soft retconning her out of the lore, or worse, permanently killing her off to streamline the narrative for newer generations of protagonists. But I want to put those fears to bed right now. Based on the community sentiment, Capcom committing to killing off or erasing Claire would be kind of suicide to the brand because fans simply won't stand for it. As a community, or the community, they value objective quality in Resident Evil. They stand strong with good writing and consistent character design. Erasing Claire's history with Sherry, giving her a cheap screen death like a decapitation, or permanently removing her from the core 4 would go against a lot of the principles of Resident Evil's good storytelling that Capcom has been trying to recover since Resident Evil 6. It would trigger a backlash that would make Resident Evil 6 look tame in comparison. Capcom knows that replacing a legacy pillar with a cheap shock value doesn't work. Look at The Last of Us Part 2 and see what Joel's death did to the story and to the reputation of The Last of Us as a whole. They are not going to kill her, and they are not going to retcon her. They're just holding her off to reintroduce her in the best way possible.
I'll drink to that.
In conclusion, I think Claire is being saved for future games, and I'm optimistic that Capcom won't do anything dirty to her. I'm optimistic that Claire will come back in Resident Evil 10 in a big ensemble, in a big finale, Avengers Endgame style finale. I am confident that the Code Veronica remake will be a really good remake and will skyrocket Claire's popularity, but we'll just have to wait and see. As the Game Rant article says, players will just have to be patient, and Claire fans like myself, keep in mind that Claire is my favorite character of all time alongside Master Chief and Sonic. I want to see her back as much as the next guy, but we do have to be patient. We have to wait for Capcom to cook the DLC that's coming up for Resident Evil Requiem, the Code Veronica remake, the Resident Evil 0 remake, potentially the Resident Evil 1 remake, and the Resident Evil 10 game that will come out hopefully by 2029 or 2030. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked the video, be sure to give a like and give your thoughts in the comment section below. If you did not like the video, leave a dislike and a mean comment. Be sure to follow on Twitch and Instagram to keep up with my social media posts and live streams. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next video. This is Switchboy, signing off. Peace. Have a good one. Okay?